This is a stimulus check update, where I'll answer all of your questions about the stimulus check. There's no point wasting any time here, let's just jump straight in. First, as you probably already know, you'll get $1,200 per adult and $500 per child. Now, that is true, and that's the full amount you'll get up until $75,000 filing individually or $150,000 filing jointly, at which point it'll decrease little by little depending on how much more you make above that threshold. Eventually, if you earn $99,000 individually or $198,000 filing jointly, you'll earn nothing. So if you're in that threshold, you'll earn a little bit less, but as long as you are below that, you'll make the full amount. And it is true that children are an additional $500, but there are a few really big caveats with that. And that's first, they have to be under 17 years old. Any child above 17 years old, even if you claim them as a dependent, will not count for anything, which is really unfortunate. What this means is that most college students won't receive any stimulus checks at all because they're too old to be counted for their parents, but since most of them are still dependents of their parents, they themselves won't get any stimulus check. If they were an independent student above the age of 17, they would get the $1,200 for themselves. But if they're above 17 and still dependent on their parents, neither them nor their parents will benefit from a stimulus check for them, which is really unfortunate. That's just the way it is, and I wanted to make sure that this was very clear. This is also true, however, for adults. So let's say that you take care of your parent or your grandparent. They live with you and you claim them as a dependent. Even though they're a dependent, because they're above the age of 17, they won't give you any additional money for the stimulus check. They won't get $1,200 for themselves, again, because they're a dependent, but you won't get anything for them because they're too old, which really sucks. I feel like this wasn't the way to go. But in spite of this, most people will still get something, so at least there's that. Now, this is a question I saw a lot, and that is, how is this going to affect your future taxes? Do you have to pay it back? Is it taxable? What's the deal here? And the answer to that is, thankfully, it has very little impact on your future taxes. It is classified as an advanced tax credit. However, that does not mean that you have to pay it back. As a matter of fact, you don't. It is not going to affect your 2020 taxes at all. Not only do you not have to count it as taxable income, but it will not play a role in your 2020 taxes in that it won't decrease your refund. If you're used to getting, let's say, $1,000 back every single year based on your income, you will still get that same amount. This $1,200 or this stimulus check will not affect that in any way. So just to be clear one last time, these stimulus checks will not decrease your refund in 2020, and they will not increase your taxable income in 2020. That would really kind of suck if the government gives you some money, then they say, oh, actually, we're going to take some of that back because we want to tax it from you. And granted, that's how things work in most situations, but at least not here. So there's that. So when are you going to get it? And if you have direct deposit set up, you'll be getting it this week if you haven't already gotten it, which is pretty nice. If you don't have direct deposit set up through a tax refund you've done previously, go to this page on the IRS website. It's the online IRS portal for direct deposit, where you can put in your information and they can get direct deposit to you. Make sure you do that sooner rather than later so you can get your direct deposit this week. Some people have already gotten it. I haven't yet, but it's coming and I'm aware of that. So if you haven't done direct deposit yet, make sure you look at this website. If you don't want to do direct deposit for whatever reason, you're going to have to wait several weeks later. They don't start mailing out checks until April 24th, at which point they only mail checks to people who have $10,000 or less of income. If you have more than that, you're going to have to wait several weeks, possibly even up until September before you get your stimulus check. If you don't want to wait that long, be sure to take advantage of this IRS portal for direct deposits. Now, on my previous video, I had plenty of questions about how you can receive them through refundable cards, because there are a lot of companies like TurboTax, H&R Block, that they give you the option of receiving your tax refund on some form of reloadable card. For example, the Emerald card is a fairly common one. And unfortunately, I don't have all the answers here. H&R Block said that the Emerald card can be used for the stimulus check, meaning that it is possible if you have an Emerald card to get your stimulus check deposited directly onto this card. That leads me to believe that most other companies will do the same idea, but I couldn't really verify that very well because TurboTax, for example, said that they're still not sure if it works for them, which it doesn't make sense to me that H&R Block, it would work for them, but it wouldn't work for TurboTax. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but that's what they said. So just to be safe, it wouldn't hurt to go to the IRS portal and put in your information if you're not sure. If you don't want to do that, then you can wait and see what happens. And if you find out, go ahead and let me know, because I'd really be interested to know if you can get these stimulus checks on all sorts of cards like these. Again, the Emerald card looks like it should be safe, based on what H&R Block said, but the other ones, I'm not so sure yet. So those were some of the most common questions that I saw for the stimulus checks. If this video was beneficial to you, be sure to share it so anyone else can learn this information as well. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know down in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. I want to be clear that I'm not a tax expert, so keep that in mind. My answers are not 100% guaranteed, but I'll do my best to answer whatever questions you have. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.